From Cornwall to Birmingham and Johnston and Bexhill, here's Ruben Spire on the radio.
Hello to K-Bust. How are you today?
Pretty good under the sun here in Chile. I'm currently in Valparaiso enjoying myself. So yeah, pretty good.
Thank you. Let me chat to you today. So, Kate, how long have you been a singer-songwriter for?
I would say for the past 10 years, I've been recording in the studio, performing live, writing my own songs, and also the last album that I'm about to release this year. I produced it and I wrote it and produced it myself. So I'm eager to put it out.
So, Kate, what was it like recording your debut album, Urban Stories? What was that like going into the recording studio when you first went there?
It was pretty new to me because I did have some experience prior to that. I recorded a couple of songs in a professional studio before deciding to go for the full album. So it was a whole experience because I had my musicians go into the studio with me, and each one of them was recording their part. And at the end of once we had the whole song pretty much built, it was time for me to hop on and record my vocals. And it was cool because I was working with a very well-known producer, local producer. So he guided me, into recording and some vocal arrangements as well. So I brought the songs, and he sculpted to his own taste, well, with me too as well. But that was the experience of recording on Urban Stories.
So, did you become a signed artist then?
Yeah, I already had signed a contract with a major distributor, and at that time, my album was published by Universal Music, and it was distributed as well, was on the music stores, and it was it was it was really, really cool to see, like walking into a music store and just go to the shelf and see it there.
Must be quite honoured to find your music in the record store.
It was some it was like feeling of pride in a good way, and accomplishment, like it was a special feeling.
So, tell me, what was it like being a signed artist at the time when you released your debut album?
That was back in 2012, 2013. I remember the social media was still trying to become something more like a main media to release music, but it wasn't like it is today. So it was harder to reach a wider audience. Spotify was in its infancy as well. I remember it wasn't even available in Canada at that time. So I knew that I was on the platform, but I couldn't even play my own songs. So I would say it was harder because in terms of the technology wasn't really there. Like, like we couldn't even like go live, like live streaming and that kind of stuff.
So it was quite honored to be signed.
It is. I mean, right now I'm with a different label. As I said in my email, it gives me more freedom to like create creatively. It's more, it understands me better in a way, like creatively, I have the freedom to try new things and really be bold in a way, because like I tend to mix different styles into my own, always in the pop music, but always like trying to search for new ingredients, if we can call them that way. But so it's better for me being a sign artist to an independent record label, for that matter.
So can you tell me more about your album called Fearless?
Fearless. It's like a milestone, because I was trying to look for a new beginning and a new I was still in search of my own style, because I've always liked synth and synthy music. So I felt that I should do something about that, and I was still in search of my own style, my own voice, and so that took me to travel and stay for 1 year in Germany, where I got to work with a local producer there. We produced 3 songs that I wrote, and then I went back home, and for an unknown reason, I couldn't keep working with that producer. So what I did is like I found a local producer, somebody that I priorly knew, and we got along very well. He understood my vision and what I really wanted to accomplish, and so we shaped the whole album. He produced it. We wrote songs like together, and we started from scratch. Although we kept 2 songs from what I did in Germany with the other producer, we refined those songs and changed them up, like lyrically and some arrangements. And at the end, we both agreed that the sound of the album was bolder and some in a way, like I wasn't afraid to try new stuff. So that's why we came up with the concept of Fearless. And because I had a song in the album as well that it was called Fight the Fear. So both made me think that that would be a good title for the album, to call it Fearless.
So what was it like working with different producers?
It was very 2 different worlds. Like the first producers was German. He had his own vision about the album that I was working on. Then when I went back to Canada and I started working with the local producer there, he also had his own vision. He was more like, and I had my own vision too at that point. So I was more into it in terms of like kind of directing a little bit the direction that I wanted to go. And I brought some new influences as well, like new artists that I was following that I really liked what they were doing. So basically, we mixed both worlds, and we came up with the album. And but it was a great experience working with both producers. Both gave me like different inputs, and I learned different things from both. So it was very rich as an experience. I wouldn't change it. I think it happened the way that it happened because of a reason, and I think it was a great experience.
So, could you tell me more about your latest single called Heartbeat?
Heartbeat. I started with a riff on one of my synths, and I really liked the sound, and I went for a very classic sound like Juno, from the 80s, a type of synth. And everything started from there, like that melody that I came up with. Then I started building the song, and once I had the song built, then I started writing the lyrics. Um, I don't necessarily write from a like intimate point of view or my own story. Sometimes I borrow them from other people, from friends, and so I would say that the inspiration came from stories that I hear, and things I watch sometimes, and um because of the feeling of the song, it's something, it's about longing, it's about like loving someone from afar, or two people that can be together, or so I came up with those lyrics thinking of those stories that I had in mind. And um I was building the song a little by little. I would have something first, and then 2 weeks later, I will come back to it and add some stuff, or I would take out some stuff until I was with the version that I really liked, and I was like satisfied with everything that I was hearing. And yeah, the melody, that was, I wrote the lyrics, but at the same time, I was trying to shape the melody so everything will fit naturally into the song. Because I don't like when it sounds like forced, or that you're trying to squish a word into it, and it doesn't sound natural. So that's pretty much the way that I work when I'm in the studio.
So, what's it like producing your music as well as writing it?
It was quite a challenge because I'm my worst judge. um yeah, I spent so much time trying to like to bring it to life in a way that I was like really proud of it, and that if I listened to it in a year or 5, I would still be proud of something that I created myself. So yeah, it took me a long time to say, well, the song is done, and now let's go to the next chapter, that it's like the mastering, and say, okay, the song is finished. Because I mixed it as well, and so I always was hearing some stuff that I was like, no, it's not ready yet, and I was tweaking things around, and until it was ready, and I liked it.
So, are you working on any new music?
Yes, actually, right now I'm thinking of what's going to be my next single. I have one in mind. Just like because now I'm like in a little pause here, because I'm not home. So, but when I go back to Canada, I'm gonna start working on the next release. I mean, I already know kind of what song I'm gonna be releasing, but everything that surrounds the new release, I need to be home to have everything ready. But yeah, I have a whole album coming up. It's a 10-song album, and as I said, there's going to be a second, and I'm thinking even to have like 5 singles out of this album. So I'm just about to release my second. So there's plenty of music coming up.
They keep listening singles keeps your fans intrigued before you release your next album.
Well, that's a very interesting question, because sometimes I ask them to help me with choosing my next single, and that's how Heartbeat was chosen to be the first one. I'm thinking about a specific, if you ask me, the one I like, it's called, I'm really bad with names, so I'm trying to remember. I think it's Hungry for Your Love. That's gonna be my second one. So, and I'm thinking about that particular song because when I was asking for people and fans to vote on my first single, I had that song as well as an option, and it was very popular as well. So I'm sure that it's gonna have like it's gonna be liked by people that follow me, and my fans too.
So, can you tell me more about your new album? Well, in the process, Rebirth.
Rebirth, it's I called it Rebirth. Once again, people voted on what should be the title of the album, and I resonate with the name as well. And if I take it as myself, like the title, and I try to relate to it, I would say that it's a new beginning for me because it marks an album that like I gave birth to it from beginning to end, like writing the songs and then building the songs or producing them and then mixing them to my own liking. So it's the very first time that I dared to do something like that, because I used to work with other artists as being myself a music producer on their own projects. So in this case, I was the producer of my own project, and I was scared at the same time because I said, I have to do something for myself. And also I want to express without barriers, without limits, without anything, what I think and what I feel. So that's why I think it's time for me to take the control of the creative process and do it myself. So that's why I think Rebirth, it's a great title for the album, because it's another stage for me in my career. It's like this is totally different. It was a challenge.
So, have you got any plans to do an album tour with your next album release? Maybe release it?
I have plans to definitely to tour. I want to go back to United States, because I toured with Fearless back in 2020, and unfortunately we all know what happened in 2020, so I had to stop. And I really love the experience of touring, so there's nothing like it. And I really want to repeat the experience with this one, because also I want to reach other audiences and pass the message to a wider audience. Also I'm trying to have some stuff here as well to see if I see the possibility to come back here to play live with my band. So definitely yes, I would say yes. There's lots of plans for this new release.
What about the UK? Some great venues in the UK.
I'd love to go to the UK. It's always like, it depends on like the audience, the how wide my music is reaching, people. But it will be a dream come true to go to the UK. I love it, by the way, because I've been to London a couple of times, and it's great.
So finally, can you tell my listeners, where can I find you on your social media?
My social media, well, I'm pretty much everywhere except on X. I have my own website, kbust.com. I have the links to my social media there, but on Facebook, you can find me there as K-Bust Music. I'm on Instagram as well, K-Bust, YouTube. And now I am on Threads, and I'm tasting the waters on Blue Sky, but it's still very new. So that's pretty much all my socials.
Thank you for letting me chat to you today.
Thank you for having me, and I'm more than honored to be part of your show. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.